Welcome everybody back to Around the Blocks with Mike Knoxxx. I am indeed your host, Mike Knoxxx, and I spell my name with 3 X's because frankly, this time of the year for wrestling fans, we all get the opportunity to be like Mike Knoxxx, and that's be hardcore. Welcome to Around the Blocks with Mike Knoxxx. Please follow me on Twitter, Instagram, social media, wherever it is sold. Even if you have to pay for it, you can find me. That's at Mike Knoxxx with 3 X's. You already know this, people. But listen, the Royal Rumble was last night, people. And going into this Royal Rumble, I was excited. I stay excited when it's Royal Rumble season because, damn it, it's the Royal Rumble. This is the time of the year, come January, when all the past trash that they've given us, we can maybe sweep under the rug because it's the road to Wrestlemania. If we know anything as intelligent wrestling fans, as the programs in which I'm a part of, this is the show for the intelligent wrestling fan, you tend to realize, okay, from January until at least April, wrestling's going to be amazing. Wrestling's going to be exciting. The problem that I have with this year's WrestleMania, which is a problem I think everyone should have, and that's the fact that it ran for damn near 5 hours. People, you have no idea. Okay? When I'm dozing, my sons are dozing, I'm waking up, and it's just, I will give you my grade, and I will give you my grade. The overall was a good pay-per-view, but it wasn't great. And the reason why you cannot put a stamp of approval of great on this pay-per-view is simply because it ran damn near 5 hours, people. How can you watch a pay-per-view that started at 6 o'clock if you caught the pre-show, which I did not call it around 6:30, till 12 a.m., okay? The official show, I'm sorry, if you will, so to speak, started at 7 p.m. So from 7 p.m. to about 11:54, when it actually went off the air, I mean, that right there was the problem with the pay-per-view. That, listen, I know somebody's going to say, well, or, the anti-establishment wrestling fans, Wrestle Kingdom went that long. Well, you know what? I didn't have to watch Wrestle Kingdom. Okay, so there you have it. No, I don't have to watch that. I'm sorry, guys. This pay-per-view had me excited. I'm excited every year. Shout out to the Wrestling Marks of Excellence. Shout out to the hashtag Belt Kings, who I know will all be attending WrestleMania this year. I myself will not be, because I just bought this new fabulous home that I have to continue to build. So I'll see you next year, hopefully back here in Florida. So I'm not going this year. So what do I do every single year when it's WrestleMania time? I get overly excited, which again, I think all wrestling fans should get overly excited when it's WrestleMania season. So here I am. Lo and behold, I send my wife out to Jersey Mike's. She picks me up a Jersey Shore giant size, no oil, no vinegar, just how I like it. They forgot to put mayo on there though, but it's okay. I'm ready. I got my Modelo's. I got my whiskey. You know what I'm saying? I'm chilling. I'm ready. I'm excited. And I sit down. I'm like, yes, what a first hour. My son's like, Dad, that was already an hour. I'm like, yes, son, it is. And then as the second hour goes on, you're like, damn, this is really taking a long time for these matches. So let's go ahead and get into these matches. Guys, again, make sure you follow me on Twitter, Instagram, wherever social media is sold, at Mike Knoxxx. Follow the station that gives you identification. That's 1340 AM Fox Sports as well. And also, I'm affiliated with The Chair Shot. Right there, people, you hashtag use your head. Shout out to thechairshot.com and all the other wrestling groups I'm a part of, the Wrestling Council and real wrestling groups like them, and Smack Talk Center and others. But, guys, point blank, guys, this was a good pay-per-view. Okay, none of my emotions out of which will stay in this review as you join Around the Blocks with Mike Knoxxx. What's going on, Billy? How you doing, bro? It has been a minute. Get to you guys' comments and everything in a second. And honestly, it was. You look at this, you open up the first match, which wasn't really hard. I mean, I said this going in on off-the-cuff radio, and anybody else that could hear me and what I had to say about the pay-per-view, I said, okay, they're going to open up with Becky Lynch and Asuka, because the biggest thing right now is Becky. She can call herself the man Becky Lynch. I'm calling her Stone Cold Becky Lynch because she has just took on the persona of Stone Cold Steve Austin in a female's body, if you will. So I'm all in on Stone Cold Becky Lynch, if you will, so to speak. And her losing the match, I predicted. I said Asuka will win so that she can go into the Royal Rumble and win the Royal Rumble. And yes, we all know, if you didn't know, you're turning on right now. I'm not going step by step, page by page, minute by minute, hour by hour. No, I'm going how I feel. And how I feel is the winner of the Women's Royal Rumble, the second annual Women's Royal Rumble, was Becky Stone Cold Lynch. But here's the thing about her match with Asuka. As great of a match it was, I said great because they put on a very good match. Yes, they had some sloppiness in there, which I will dive into when it comes to my talk about Ronda Rousey, and I'm looking at reports saying that she's sloppy in the ring. And you know what, guys? I watch wrestling every week like you do. Everybody makes a mistake. You can call it a botch if you want to. I personally hate that word in the wrestling business, like I hate the word buried in the wrestling business. People make mistakes in wrestling. No one says, hey, this is how it's going to be, and it works perfectly. There's good and there's bad with wrestling. So I saw some mistakes in that match with Asuka, but you know what? No one did on Twitter. No one did on social media. No one ripped Asuka the way they ripped Ronda Rousey for the mistakes she's made. But the problem I have with that match, as good as it was, as great as it was the fact that they had Becky Lynch tapped out. That's the part that kind of threw me. And that's where you hear the reports that Vince does not want to have that person that, you know, insert guy or girl here, to be so over that they're bigger than the company. That's the only thing that makes sense to me in that elm. You don't want to make Asuka look weak, but Asuka could have rolled her up for a pin and gets the pin. It could have been a shocking. She could have got up and stunned her, which I would like to see her start doing, using the Stone Cold Steve Austin stunner. But just to have her tap, I was a little thrown off by that. Shout out to Solid Gold that checks in from time to time. I was chopping it up with them on Twitter yesterday doing the Royal Rumble, and he also felt the same way. I mean, I'm sorry, those guys at Pure Gold, I apologize, over at Pure Gold felt the same way. Like, okay, I don't mind her losing, right, to Asuka. Everybody kind of predicted she would win the Rumble. But to have her tap is where wrestling fans have our quarrels this morning. Also, last night, and you know what? And I gave that match, by the way, a good solid 4.5 out of 5 stars. I'm going to give it Lita and Trish Stratus competition, okay, because they put on a show better than I can think any of these ladies can do. These are, to me, two of the best women in the business next to Charlotte Flair, which, again, in my opinion, she's the greatest female wrestler of all time. It's Charlotte Flair. So then after this wonderful match that was won by the one, the only Becky Lynch, we have the Smackdown Tag Team titles, which this is the part that of the show that bothers me. And why? It's because you read what you have to read, whether it's hashtag Death to Dirt Sheets or not. Dirt Sheets, what they do is they have an intelligent wrestling fan. As you're listening to the show for the intelligent wrestling fans, you write something that you think's going to happen, or you look at the way the storyline's going, you use your intelligent wit about yourself, and you formulate a great idea, and you formulate that into a rumor. And so the rumors are that this guy, this team, those people, everybody wants to leave to go to AEW. Okay, and when you hear that, there's got to be some kind of what do they say? How you say it? Throw some salt on the flame, if you would, or where there's rumor, there's dirt. I can't think of the perfect analogy right now, but you get my point. There's always something to a rumor. So when you hear these things, and you look at the tag team division, you go, damn, you just let Shane and The Miz win the title. Now, I get it's for a bigger, it should be anyway. We can say that it is, but we don't know what the WWE does. They do what they want, when they want, how they want to do it, and we just sit back, either enjoy it or bitch about it on the internet. So when you sit back and you watch this, and you see these guys, when you're going, okay, this isn't going to last long, but the first thing comes to my mind is this is disrespectful to the tag team division. This is disrespectful to the Bar. This is disrespectful to the Usos. This is disrespectful to the Revival. This is disrespectful to insert any tag team you want to insert there. Gable and Chad, if you want, Rose and Gable, if you want to insert any tag team. This is disrespectful. And the reason is, I understand this is what the company does. The company from time to time will throw out a makeshift tag team. I mean, it's The Miz. It's Shane McMahon. How he won the match was incredible. For what it's worth, it was a good match. He did a shooting star press, for heaven's sakes. Shane McMahon is 49 years old, and he's doing shooting star presses. I'm at Pro Bowl weekend, and I refuse to run the 40-yard dash. I think I should get my my faculties in order. Don't you think? 49, shooting star, 43, no 40-yard dash. Yeah, I'm stepping up next year, y'all. Cannot do it. Won't do it. Won't do it. Will do it. I promise I will. But what do you do with the tag team division on SmackDown? Okay, we know that we're hoping anyway, and I keep saying we know because we don't know, but I'm going to speak as if we know they're going to have a bigger payoff between those two at Mania. But then I've seen that from weeks back. I don't want to see Shane versus Miz at WrestleMania. I like Shane McMahon. I think we all do. It's one thing we see Shane coming back to do a runoff. when he originally came back 3 years ago. Okay, but even last year having a second match, okay, whatever. But damn, a third match? I just don't get it. My man Mo _Eden hashtag, shout out to Kings, Belt Kings right there. You ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do what? I am gonna do it. Don't doubt me. I will do it, and you will see me do it. But it is disrespectful to bias because we know that AEW just put out a big emphasis, that they're going to have a big emphasis, if you will, on tag team wrestling. So how do you have this happen on the second biggest show of the year? Okay, and which is my favorite pay-per-view, by the way. I love WrestleMania. It's my favorite, if not for the Royal Rumble, because the Royal Rumble is my favorite because it's the road to WrestleMania. It's where everything starts. Without this starting point, then where do you go? Okay, and after watching this last night, I wonder, where the hell do we go next with this in that match? So overall, it was a good match. I give it about three. I give it 3.25 stars, and I give it 3.25. Tag team belts, if you will, from the 90s, the ones the Hart Foundation wore, because they did put in a good match. It's just I did not like the outcome. And I'm not a person, excuse me, guys, hitting the microphone there. I'm not a person who complains normally about outcomes of matches. Like, that's never been one of my biggest things that I complain about as a wrestling fan. I never understood it. I don't like when wrestling fans do it, so I never was going to do it. And I will continue not to do it. Excuse me, I'm getting my mic together. I kind of knocked it off. I apologize. I won't complain about outcomes and crying and bitch. That's bullshit. Why did that happen? Tomato. It's just, where do you go from here? So I'm curious about where they go from here. And I'm curious about not just where they go. What do you do with the bar? What do you do with these tag teams that are tag team wrestlers? I know I had a conversation with some guys I met yesterday playing WWE 2K19. If you're on Xbox or PlayStation, hit me up. My gamer tag is the game V1 THA space GAME. V as in Victor, the number 1, all capital letters on all gaming platforms. As in that 2K community playing wrestling yesterday, and he was like, yo, he hated the bar. He don't think the bar's a good tag team. And for me, I had to disagree. I think the bar's a very good tag team. They're one of the top tag teams in the world. I didn't say they were the best. I didn't say they were the second best or third best, but they're in that 5 to 6 range for best tag teams in the world going against all wrestling platforms. So I just wonder, what do you do with these guys? And again, my favorite tag team out there, the Usos, what are they going to do with this? Then after that, we go into this Ronda Rousey Sasha Banks match, people, which people were actually expecting Sasha Banks to win this. And I just knew from the beginning Ronda Rousey would win this match. And we're going to get Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch at WrestleMania, which it looks like that's what's going to happen. Becky gets to choose what title. If she's smart, she goes after Ronda Rousey. That's the match that she wants. That's the match that people want. But is that the match that people wanted a year ago? No, it's not. A year ago, that people wanted Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey. That's what I still want. I still think they're a better match in the ring for each other than her and Becky. That's just me. I love Becky. I think Becky's one of the best in the world, but I think Charlotte Flair is the best women's wrestler in the world, hands down. And I like to see Flair versus Ronda Rousey, but for some reason, wrestling fans get on their high horse, and all of a sudden now Becky Lynch is the favorite of the month. I remember when Becky Lynch first won the women's Smackdown title. You guys wasn't checking for it. You know how I know? Because I was there when she won it in Virginia. Okay, I was there, and know that not empty crowd, not completely sold out crowd at that pay-per-view, that Smackdown pay-per-view, when she won the title, people didn't pop for her. That's all I'm saying. There was a little pop, but not a big pop. So I was there. So lately, in the last 4 months, now she's the flavor of the month, and I agree with her. She's doing it. Ride that thing to the wheels fall off. Run, tell that, if you will. But hey, I like to see more from that matchup. We're going to get Becky. We're going to get Sasha. We're going to get Ronda. We're going to get Becky. But into this match, it was a good match. It wasn't bad. I actually liked the match. I actually loved the way the match started. Checking each other out, the fillers out. Going for each other's submissions, reversing each other's submissions, and all that stuff. I thought they put on a very, very good match, honestly. And Sasha Banks is definitely one of the best in the world. And I believe next to Kurt Angle and next to Brock Lesnar, because people forget how great Brock was and with the next big thing era, Ronda Rousey's that damn good. And here's where I do open up the conversation. If you're listening, watching via live on Facebook, this will be later on chairshot.com, on BDSR Network and other various networks, YouTube as well. You can go ahead and comment. I do not agree with people saying that Ronda Rousey's not good in the wrestling ring. It's just beyond blindness to me. I don't want to call, stupid or anything like that, because it's my perspective. It's my vantage point and what I look at. And to me, like comedy, is subjective. It's not, to me, I don't think a person can look at, let's say, a movie like The Dark Knight and make that subjective, because it's written. It's a brilliantly written story, and it's a graphic novel turned into a film, right? So I look at comedy. Comedy, it's subjective, because what you find funny may not be what I find funny. That's different than a script that you may find, oh, I like how that read versus how I didn't like how that read. That's to me, that's slightly difference there. And that's how I feel about when I look at Ronda Rousey in the ring. I think it's a matter of perspective. And when you look at where she came from, who I didn't think she could do it, she's done everything really, really good except for the promos. And they're getting better. They're giving her bullet points, not scripts like they give other girls. And you can see that she's getting better and better and better at that. But in the ring, I think she's flawless. And for those who say, she's sloppy and she makes mistakes, I say this all the time. When I hear wrestling fans ask me or say, Triple H buried this person and John Cena buried this person, I go, name me your top superstar minus Mick Foley. Okay. And Mick Foley, by the way, was not a top draw. Keep that in mind. Out of all the biggest names in professional wrestling, name me somebody who was not selfish in their role. I wait. Maybe The Rock, because we don't hear too much about him, but we know Stone Cold was selfish. We know HH was selfish. We know HBK was selfish. If you're a wrestling champion and you're number one, you're going to be selfish. So I don't see it that way, but I look at Ronda Rousey. I think she's doing everything that it takes to be good. And just to throw out there, let's get this conversation out there that you hear from these hashtag death to dirt sheets. I would be surprised. Okay. I have not had to shave my eyebrows. Thank you. Because Daniel Bryan came back and wrestled last year like I predicted a year before it happened, that after WrestleMania that he would be at. I will predict right now, Ronda Rousey's not going anywhere. Will she take a break? That's possible. That's a possibility. So when you say a break is a month. Okay. A break is after WrestleMania, she may not be at Backlash, right? That's taking time off. Ronda Rousey leaving, it's not going to happen. And I give her the time off for several reasons. We don't know if she got any movies she got to go film. We don't know if she had, like I said, the movies we see, she did what she did with Mortal Kombat 11, which I cannot wait for. Okay. We don't know this. Maybe it's time for her to have a vacation, right? She put in a year. No one thought. Okay. And if anybody says they did think this, to your face, to this camera I'm looking at, I will call you a liar. No one thought she would even have the schedule in which she did. So for anybody who says Ronda's not committed, you're just blind. This woman is doing house shows. Brock Lesnar's not doing any house shows. Yeah, he may show up at Madison Square Garden because it's Madison Square Garden. But Ronda Rousey's in Tupelo, Mississippi doing house shows. But you want to rip her? Come on, people. Ronda Rousey has taken the ball and she's running with it. Just call her sweetness, and next thing you know, she's going to be the next Walter Payton of wrestling. I'm sorry. I do think Ronda Rousey's that damn good. That girl is that damn good. Who is that girl? It's Ronda Rousey. Give her a few more years. People got to understand, it's her first year. It's not even been a full year yet that this woman has been wrestling. So when I hear things like sloppy, when I hear things like she can't wrestle, when I hear things like her promos, I'm going to name a few girls. Sasha Banks, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, the Hugger. Naomi. Well, not Naomi. Let's take Naomi out of there. I'm going to keep those four girls I named. I say Bailey and Natalya. Besides those five women, I'll rename them again. Natalya, Bailey, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair. She's the sixth best woman in the roster. And yeah, I put her a little slightly above Nia Jax and Alexa. No, I think Alexa Bliss there. Sorry, I put Alexa Bliss in there first above her. But those girls that I named, right, the six that I put above her, have all been doing this for years. They've been practicing for years. They've been wrestling for years. They've been cutting promos for years. This girl was a fan who was in MMA getting her ass whooped, came here and made it happen. I'm sorry. Ronda Rousey is the seventh best woman in the WWE wrestling and probably better than some of the girls around the world. Now, I don't go main roster stuff because to me, I don't look at Raw and SmackDown as main rosters versus NXT versus ROH versus AEW. I look at them as all individual promotions. Yes, WWE runs them all, but they give me different shows. When I watch NXT, it's nothing at all like WWE. main rosters, which I just said I don't like to call that, but I'm using for you guys to understand where I'm coming from. It's nothing alike. They're two different federations. They're run two different ways. In one company, it's about the wrestling. In the other company, it's about the story. And that's what people have to understand. Wrestling is hashtag storyline. Even in NXT, they got stories, but the wrestling in the ring tells the story first, which is why I think, and I've said this for 7 years. 7 years, guys. I've said this. I've been on air doing BDSR Network now. This will be the 9th year. We got over 2,000 episodes, moved over to Fox Sports and still going strong. I have said that NXT is the best wrestling around. Better than New Japan, better than Ring of Honor, better than what is called Impact, better than Lucha Underground, better than Smackdown and Raw. It is. It's the wrestling that I want to see. They have edge. They want it more. It's like watching college basketball and college football. They want it more. And that's why I don't compare the two products. And just to dive back into the NXT Saturday Night Takeover, I became a fan of Prince Puma, a.k.a. Ricochet. People say, well, oh, he was Prince. I knew who Prince Puma was. And I don't text a lot or comment on Facebook because my words are always misunderstood in what I'm writing. So that's why I got into radio. That's why I got into doing the podcasting before podcasting became the hit thing to do in your mama's basement. See, this is my house, not my mama's basement. My house. My mama picture right here, though. Rest in peace. Be 9 years this Thursday that she's been gone. Always going to have a space in my heart for her. Her passing actually gave me, lit the fire to do something with my life along with my wife. So there you have that. But I look at these what's going on. I'm just like, no, this is what is happening. This is what it is. And that's professional wrestling. People have to understand that. When you look at this at Sasha Banks and Ronda Rousey's match, you have to give it an A. You have to give it away. The only thing I did not like about that match was the end of the match. I did not like that. Now we go on to the Women's Royal Rumble. And this is where I did have a problem with the program. I had a friend of mine saying, oh, this is just as good. The Royal Rumble is my favorite pay-per-view also because we now have the women also. Was it me or watching the women? I felt as if they melded in. Last year, they all came hard out the box for that Royal Rumble. I thought they melded in this year. I was not a big fan of the Women's Royal Rumble. I give it about 2.5 stars out of 5. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna name them. Okay. What's her name? Amber Moon. Amongst with other ones were just in the corner a lot of the time, and you can see them just watching the clock. They wasn't doing anything. I know this happens in battle royals, and this is really strange. My favorite two entities of wrestling is tag team wrestling and battle royals. Hey, don't judge me. Just love me. You don't like it? Well, listen anyway. But here it is. It's the realest thing going today. That's how I honestly feel. I love battle royals. I don't know. It's just a goofy thing. Like when you're a kid, some people, girls like cowboys. You know what I mean? And I just didn't. I shout out to Social Network. She says, like a girl loves cowboys. But I love battle royals. And watching this battle royal, I was disappointed in this Royal Rumble with the women. I really, really was. It was like up until the end, up until the final 4, I was disappointed in the Women's Royal Rumble. I didn't like what Naomi did because now Naomi will also now become the female Kofi Kingston and be a sideshow. And how will she be eliminated? How about her winning one time? How about Kofi winning one time? How about doing something different? You say you're going to give us something different, but yet all things still seem to stay the same. Give me 1 second, guys. Like my cam, there it is. Back a little bit, focus there. Just understand that. Like, you have to put on a better show, in my opinion, than what the women did in the Royal Rumble. Shout out to the ladies who did participate and did give it a shout out, good time. I wish Charlotte would have won, but as I said, opening up, as I said all weekend long, we knew Becky Lynch, because of the fans, we're going to win the Royal Rumble. To me, Charlotte's the best. Does Charlotte should win right now? No, she doesn't have to win. Becky needs this, especially after them making her tap out. This became very, very, very huge. But did you like the Women's Royal Rumble? Comment below. Let me know if you even like the outcome. But the order that came out, I had it right here. We had Lacey Evans made her debut on The Rock. Put a very good, very, very, very good performance in this Royal Rumble. I will give her that. Excuse me. Lacey Evans did her damn thing, and having her stand next to Charlotte, I cannot wait for that. That just looks like magic written all over. But yeah, Lacey Evans, Natalya, Mandy Rose, Liv Morgan, Mickie James, Amber Moon. This is the order they came in. Billie Kay, Nikki Cross, Peyton Royce, Tamina, Xena Lee, Sarah Logan, Charlotte Flair, Kairi Sane, who one of the girls who was in the corner not doing much of anything. Maria Kanellis. Why is she even in this match? I don't know. Naomi, Candice LeRae, which, by the way, whoo! Was that the one I like? No, was that? I get to her name and sing. That's not her. But man, she did really, really good. By the way, we have Alicia Fox, Casey Cazero, Selena Vega, hottest woman in wrestling right now. People, Ruby Riott, Dana Brooks, Rhea Ripley. That's who I like. That girl can go, people. That girl can go. Alexa Bliss, Bayley, Becky Lynch, Nia Jackson, and Carmella, winner again, people being Becky Lynch in that match. But let me know what you feel about that. Now, here's where I was disappointed. You watch NXT TakeOver, and the best match I've seen was Ricochet versus Johnny Gargano. That's how I was going about the Prince Puma thing. Like, and I was saying, friends of mine, I didn't really like him as Prince Puma because that's just a good wrestler. To me, you are better when you're out the mask. Everybody can't be in a mask like Rey Mysterio. And I think Ricochet pulled it off a lot better for me as Ricochet than Prince Puma. And I didn't like Ricochet up until this. I thought this is this guy who does flips and things in the ring. But what I saw in NXT was amazing between him and Gargano. And for my money, that was the best wrestling match I've seen in quite some time on any roster, at any platform. I think New Japan, you name it, insert match to me. I think that was the best match I've seen in about 4 or 5 years. That's just my opinion. I love what I got from out of that match. But I looked for Sunday and I said, what can duplicate that match? Daniel versus AJ. Daniel versus AJ disappointed the hell out of me. Disappointed the hell out of me in that match. I had to give it 2.5 stars. They deserve better than this. They should have put on a better match than this. But what I do like, that no one likes, I like that Roman showed up. I like that, right? I do. I like, because you got to give somebody where we already know he's a follower, right? And anybody who's a part of the Wyatt family, we know these things. So why not have snapped out of it now, be Daniel Bryan needing some bully help? I like it. Kind of like, and I'm not saying this is what's happening, but I can see another version, almost the way Daniel Bryan's been playing his role, which, by the way, Daniel Bryan's an awesome heel. The way he's been playing his role, can we get a straight edge society almost part 2, but not like straight edge, but like just how Daniel Bryan is with the fickle people and your baby boomers and how you do business and stuff and the way people are. I can see them making that right there happen. They got straight edge society, if you will, so to speak, version with Daniel Bryan and Roman and whoever else they decide to recruit right there. Go ahead and bring Nikki Cross to him. I don't care. Personally, I like Daniel Bryan. Whoever Daniel Bryan touches, to me, turns into gold. But other than that, other than the end of the match, I was very disappointed in that match in its totality. Then we had Brock Lesnar defeats Finn Balor via submission, in which I want to be disappointed as a fan, right? As a fan of Finn Balor, and where I thought, or not where I thought, because this is what I thought would happen, right? What I wanted to happen, right? This is why I don't get mad, right? Because when I want something to happen, the WWE doesn't pull the trigger, I just let it ride. I would have loved to have seen them have him beat Brock Lesnar and have Finn versus Seth at WrestleMania. That's what I wanted. That's what I was going for when I picked Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch to win the Royal Rumble, which both of them win. We'll get that in the Royal Males Rumble in a second, and why you kind of let me down a little bit. But this was the time for them to pull the trigger, to have Brock Lesnar get out of there with the title, put him anywhere else you want to put him, right? But have him get out of there and have that happen. And as my wife is texting me, and have that happen, I apologize. So the match was good for what it's worth. It really was good for what it's worth. But all in all, I just don't understand. I just don't understand how they're afraid to pull that trigger. And it was a great match. It lasted for over 10 minutes. It was great. It was a really good match. It was Finn pulled off. Brock got hurt somewhere in the match. I don't know if it was internally on the hip, what was hurting him that he was trying to sell, but it worked. And I thought Finn would pull it off. And I thought you had an opportunity to have something different, but it's okay because I did predict this, and I predicted the winner of the Male Royal Rumble being Seth Rollins, and I predicted it all happened because it needed to happen for one reason. We got to go back to full circle. Wrestling has missed the ball. WWE especially has missed the ball with bringing things back to full circle. Where did Seth first win the title? Right? WrestleMania San Francisco. Cashing in on the triple threat match with Roman and Brock. They never had a one-on-one. They had a one-on-one small match that no one really remembers, I think, having like a couple months after that. But not a big deal, right? I think it was like I don't think it was a Backlash. It was whatever pay-per-view they had inserted that year. I got to look it up. But Brock losing at Mania to Seth Rollins is just going to be huge. Seth is hugely over. No one beats Brock, but Seth will beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Mark my words. Coming in the ring, you had Elias, Jeff Jarrett, Shinsuke Nakamura, Kurt Angle, Big E, Johnny Gargano, Jinder Mahal, Samoa Joe, Kurt Hawkins, Seth Rollins, Titus O'Neil, Kofi Kingston. Titus O'Neil did not fall, by the way, but everybody was waiting for that to happen. Mustafa Ali put on one hell of a performance. And for me, the MVP of the Royal Rumble was Mustafa Ali and Andreas. Pull up a hell of a show. Kofi Kingston, I said, Dean Ambrose, No Way Jose, which might have broke the record between him and Xavier Woods, Drew McIntyre, Xavier Woods, Pete Dunne, Andreas, Apollo Crews, Alex Black makes a debut, Sheldon Benjamin, Baron Corbin, Jeff Hardy, Rey Mysterio, Bobby Lashley, Braun Strowman, Dolph Ziggler makes his return, Randy Orton, and Nia Jax enters the Rumble. I thought it was good. I did. I thought the Mel's Royal Rumble was good. Here's my only problem with the Mel's Royal Rumble. Shout out to my man Epps, who said, well, what could have been a surprise? Hey, I'm a stupid wrestling fan. What do I know? Wrestling, you got to be somewhat of have a kid's mind to watch it, in my opinion. It's a kid's program. You have to suspend your belief. I thought they would pull the bag on Kenny Omega. Yes, I'm going to state my fact. If I'm wrong about Kenny Omega going to AEW, it's because they want to make a bigger splash once they get their TV announcement, perhaps. But I think if Kenny Omega was going to All Elite Wrestling, they would have made that announcement. I know you're saying he's under contract until Friday. So what? The WWE has done more than that before. No one thought they would pull off the Cult of Personality song when they bought the rights for CM Punk to have that. No one thought they would play the Bad Reputation with Ronda Rousey. No one thought they would buy some of the contracts they bought out. WWE, it's 4 days. It wouldn't have been that big of a deal if that was the case in which they were going to sign, to sign him. And they didn't. So I really thought that, Kenny Omega was going to pop up in this Royal Rumble. And I just thought, and so you have what surprises? You're right. There are no surprises. And this is, the Royal Rumble was not always my favorite pay-per-view because of surprises, because it's the road to WrestleMania. It's what comes out of this is what we're going to start. We're going to see tonight. But I would have loved to have seen Kenny Omega. And although I'm not the biggest Kenny Omega fan, I've said this openly before. I think you look at Kenny Omega, I see not much of a difference between him and Seth Rollins. But you people want Kenny Omega. You know what I mean? I'm not stupid about what I see in the ring. He's very good. I don't think he's as great as a lot of you guys think he is. I do think he's very, very good, though. And for him to become great, I think he does need to come here. And to me, you guys, fans, myself including being one of these things fans, you can say all you want to that, there is no competition, or the WWE has competition. The only WWE competition there is, it's not AEW. It's not Ring of Honor. It's not New Japan Pro Wrestling. The only competition for Vince McMahon is Netflix. It's Hulu. It's streaming services. I had some guy try to tell me that NXT has bigger numbers than SmackDown and Raw. And I'm like, what are you talking about? No, they don't. Oh, you look at their YouTube. That's YouTube. That's a completely different format of how you see it, okay? How you view it, okay? It's what it is. These rumors about, Fox said they got demand 3.0 on their viewership. That's dumb. They don't have a 3 now. So why would Fox all of a sudden think they're going to get a 3 because they move into Fox? That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But Kenny Omega is that guy. And I want to see him come there because I still believe in my heart of hearts, you can be the greatest wrestler in the world. If you do not make a splash in the WWE, it's just forgotten cause. Everybody's not Sting. Everybody's not Sting. Sting's one of a kind. Maybe there's 2 of a kind. Maybe the second one barely being AJ Styles. Because what he did other places have been better than what he's done here. But to be big, you got to make it to the big dance, baby. And the big dance is the WWE. It's really that simple. I want to see people get over. I want to see you be great and come here and be better. And that's what Kenny Omega needs to do. He needs to come to the WWE to become better. The Young Bucks ain't never going to probably, I shouldn't say never, but they're probably more like Cody did his thing. Would I have liked to see Cody back? Absolutely. He's making bigger splashes in AEW, which is going to be better for all wrestling fans to have all that alternative again. All of you guys cannot be a privilege to, I remember watching UWF, AWA, Texas wrestling, Georgia South wrestling, WC, or at the time, to me, it was NWA and WWF. I remember these things. So to me, I had a very selective wrestling world catalog growing up. I got to see the missing link and thing. I seen where the Ultimate Warrior came from as the main Dingo Warrior. I seen these things happen. I've seen Sting. I've seen Kevin Sullivan. I've seen these guys all come from here to go to there to come together before WWE bought everybody. So I think that's great with wrestling today. But overall, great for the Royal Rumble. I would definitely give it a 4 out of 5. I can't give it the 5 I wanted to. I can't even give it a 4.5 if I wanted to, because it just drug on too damn long. It was just too damn long. So I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. NWA spray painted title belts right there. You know why? Because when you first saw that belt get spray painted, it was like, oh my God, this is dope. Then after a while, you're like, man, they just disrespected Big Goldie like that, right? Me personally, I've always thought, you know, my company, which I'm a fan of, WWE, was better than NWA. So when they spray painted it, I loved it. So I met Kevin Nash one time. I went across the street to 7-Eleven, got some spray paint, and had him spray paint that myself for him. So for me, by him. But overall, I give it 4 out of 5 wrestling belts. It was just too long. It was good. No surprises. It was good. It just drung on way too long. Look at some of your comments before I get out of here. See what you guys had to say. Shout out to everybody checking in Paris. What's going on? You actually went to the Royal Rumble. Okay. How dope was that, Paris? Okay. That was dope. That's right. You live out in that area. Nice stuff. Nice stuff. I am going to run, sucker. I like that match too. It's totally disrespectful to doing everything in the tag team wrestling. Shout out to Minister Jed, checking in, Uncle Jed. My man Billy, I know you don't, but some of them outcomes though. I do honestly agree with you on the outcomes though. Vic, I didn't like all the matches, but I love the side saddle slam that Ronda Rousey did. Okay, just Sasha Banks with the Piper's Pit, but I didn't find that event to be interesting. It just drug on too damn long. It just drug on too long. They're actually outstanding, especially from being where they're thrown together. Yeah, they were. They did get them thrown together. Charlotte is the best. Tobias agrees with me on that one. Ronda Rousey is a good trash talker. In the ring, she does. And I think that's underrated. I think what Ronda does in the ring, outside of wrestling, and I think that's why I think she has it. To me, that's where you heard me say Carmella is money. You don't have to like Carmella. She's not the wrestling girl you want to see. You know what I mean? She's kind of a wrestling girl of, you know, a throwback to the Nikki Bella and them kind of wrestling girls. She's pretty, can do a few moves, but she does it very well inside the square circle. Her ring psychology, as far as the science of wrestling and talking trash in the square circle, she does that well, and so does Ronda Rousey. NXT is setting the new standard. There's no standard to step when you're who you are. Shout out to Hornswoggle. What's going on there? So, guys, listen, your comment, my man Anthony put in. Ricochet is the man. Too bad he will never get Neville versus Ricochet. I agree with that. They thought Bray Wyatt was going to return. I thought Bray Wyatt was going to return. I thought Kevin Owens would return. I thought Sami Zayn was return. So that's where I say that it's just surprises. And thank you for pointing out Mo_Eden on the Twitter. I definitely agree with that. That's where I did want to see those guys. I didn't have to get my Kenny Omega, you know, for fans and just the splash purposes like we did with AJ Styles a few years ago. I would have loved to have seen it, but where is Kevin Owens? Where is Sami Zayn? Where is Bray Wyatt? These are returns you could have had that could have got over a lot better. Also, I was just glad HH was not there. Of course, I don't ever ride with that guy. My man DJ. I hate to be that person, but to all the black wrestlers look like complete crap in the Rumble. They were a sideshow, a comedy act, and I was highly disappointed in the way the pay-per-view kicked off WrestleMania season, and I hate to say that. And I was almost there, DJ. I swear to you, I was almost there, and I agree with you about the black participants. That goes for how they treated Lashley, okay? Yeah, he got talked out. Yeah, he had an aftermath, but in the Rumble, he got to have a big performance. You're going to give Braun Strowman a big performance. You give Nia Jax a bigger performance, but Bobby Lashley can't get one. And I definitely agree with the Naomi Kofi Kingston and the way they did that. So when I do hear the rumors, when you can't put two and two together, you can finally, which I don't think dirt sheets do much of anyway, and that's do some journalism and explore these contracts. And these are reasons why we can hear people saying the New Day might go to AEW because of stuff like that. Why can't the New Day next to John Cena, okay, and maybe CM Punk sell more merch than anybody in that company? Why can't none of them guys get a single run? The Shield did it. Why can't these three guys get a real significant run? It's becoming to be a problem. And I agree, DJ. I won't. The thing is this, I won't allow it to ruin my WrestleMania moment, although it kicks it off. But it does the 5.5 hour show, some of the way some of the stuff went. You're right. You know what, DJ? I got to be real to myself and real to you guys out there. I'm taking that 4 and I'm taking that title and I'm erasing it. I'm giving a Royal Rumble 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5 John Cena US spinners. Some of us liked it, some of us didn't. And that's how I feel about this pay-per-view. It just was too damn long. 3 out of 5 John Cena US spinner title belts is that. My last comment I'm going to read right here, my man Uncle Jed, with a lot of guys asking for their releases. AEW, what do you think about the state of wrestling? It's the best place it's been. And I think I said that before I ended earlier. It's the best place it's been since the late early 80s in wrestling. It's something for everybody. It is. It's something for everybody. And my thing about the AEW thing is this. I can't get hype about it until I see them on TV. We can assume it's going to be great, but we don't know that. I like Hangman Page. I don't think Hangman Page should have gone to AEW, because if you're going to be the next big thing, you do it in the WWE if they offered it to him. If they didn't, then go here and make a splash for yourself and then see what happens in the future. But right now, their biggest names is the Bucks. Their biggest names is Hangman Page and Aaron Neville or Adrian Neville or Pac, whatever he wants to call himself now. That's their biggest draw to the company. Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho is, and I love Chris Jericho, don't get me wrong here, but how much does Jericho have left? How much can Jericho, I'm just being honest. Jericho's this maverick of wrestling, and he does continue to always reinvent himself, but also say everything Jericho did, everybody just thinks is automatically Jesus. And there's, with great power comes great responsibility. We've all heard that before. So AEW has a lot of power where they have the responsibility of giving us a show that we delivered on. So I don't know where it is right now. The talk of the wrestling state is awesome right now because we're talking about the state of wrestling. But the actual state of wrestling is still where it's been. It's just WWE and then New Japan is trying to trickle in. But when New Japan is losing the stars that cater to American audiences, like the Young Bucks, like Cody, possibly like Omega, who's contracting at the end of the week, possibly Jericho, what do you have? You're going to get Shinsuke Nakamura back and going to get Dave Tommy back. Okay, that's not going to make me go watch New Japan Pro Wrestling any more than what I've watched in the past when I was a fan of New Japan in the 90s when Ric Flair was going there and Ron Simmons and Vader was going over there and staying. But other than that, I don't know. What I do know is that the Royal Rumble kicked off the road to WrestleMania. And if this is the road right now, guys, it's a long way to go. And this is coming from me, the WWE hashtag guy. If this is the road to WrestleMania, we have a long way to go. Still excited. Won't get disappointed. But right now, I'm even killed this morning, guys. Like I said, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, at Mike Knoxxx, hashtag use your head, chairshot.com, Fox Sports Radio, 1340am.com. See you today, guys. Fox Sports Radio, 530, Soul and Sports. We out of here. Peace.